Hey guys, it's X22W here, and I decided to do something I've been putting off for probably about 6 months. I actually, funny story, I made this video, and then I realized that my mic and its game sound were muted the whole entire time I made the video. So when I sent it over to my friend to like put it all together, he's like, "There's no sound," and I was like, "Okay, I'm never doing this again." But okay, not never, but I just put off doing it because I hated that I just wasted like an hour and a half of my life doing it. It's actually like 7 o'clock, and I decided that I'm not gonna stream, so I was like, I might as well get this video finally out, especially since it's the new season, right? It's season 31 finally. It's 31. This game has been out for so long. Yep, season 31. I ended top 500 last season, so I'm just gonna do a complete guide for you guys to be ready for season 31, and hopefully you can climb through the ranks with some of the things I'm telling you and everything like that. So yeah, I'll call this the complete top 500 Genji guide. Sounds good. All right. So I'm gonna start off with basics. So I'm gonna have a tab, and we're just gonna talk about things that you should just know about the hero, right? So I'm gonna go through all his abilities first. So as we all know, we have wall climb, right? That's pretty simple. You just hold your jump button, and you climb up walls. Okay. You also have double jump. So you can combo double jump into wall climb to get up higher, or vice versa. You can jump, wall climb, and then jump up again to get up here. Things like that. Next, you got left click, which throws 3 shurikens. And I'm pretty sure I haven't adjusted. Oh wait, no, I have. Okay, so left click throws 3 shurikens, and that'll always be in the straight line wherever your crosshair is. So wherever your crosshair was when he releases is where it's gonna end up. Next, basically that's important because like things like Hanzo or Torb has like drop off. Next would be that it's 29 damage. There, so 29 damage, and that is a 0.95 rate of fire. So it takes about 1 second to throw the next one, if I have that correct. So just for an example, I wish I had damage counter. Okay, so we have that this is 200. This is 200 HP. So as you can see, like 3 of them is more than 20. Math is hard. I didn't even think about it. What is it? 58. It'd be 58. 58 times 3. Yeah, this is scuff. I wish I had damage counters above. My fault. Anyways, next would be you have right click, and that throws the shurikens in a fan like this. And the farther it goes, the more the spread out they are. Okay, so keep that in mind, and it's about a 0.75 recovery time. So holding right click, you shoot faster, and you can get more damage out at a time than holding left click. Which is why when you're close range, you see a lot more Genjis right clicking instead of left clicking, because you can get more damage out faster. Next is your dash, which is simple. It does 50 damage, and it's usually on an 8-second cooldown. It's on half the time because of the workshop of him, but as you can see, it's halfway, so it's 8-second cooldown.
Alright, so I wanted to give a little bit more onto this because it's about 2.5 days since I've made this video, and I realized that I made dumbass and forgot some things. So, quick thing on Swift Strike, besides everything I just reviewed, you'll also notice that you can see max range here, how long it lasts, but I even mentioned the most important thing about it. If you get an elimination with Swift Strike, with your dash, if your dash is on cooldown, regardless of if you kill with Swift Strike or kill after, it automatically is reset. So let's say you dash through an enemy, right? So let me just show this quickly. If you dash through an enemy, okay, you see how it's on 8 seconds? If you get a kill, it's automatically reset. Next, if you dash with it, it automatically is also reset, and that leads to the fancy montages where you see ghost dashing, because what happens is they just double dash because they get a kill, and then they dash again, and that's a ghost dash. Now, that's not as important in this video, but that's just a quick thing on that. So, yeah, Xavier's a dumbass, and you'll be seeing more edits of this later.
Another very important ability is Deflect. This will last 2 seconds and is also an 8-second cooldown. And then finally, the classic Dragon Blade. Let me Let me actually reset this quickly, just so, because I had set the mana. Okay, so it does 120 damage.
Alright, I'm back again. And guess what? Excuse that dumbass to the left again. That dude apparently doesn't know what patch notes are, and doesn't know that even though that he knows the blade is nerfed, that he doesn't know numbers still change. So as you can see, I said 120 because that's what it's been for like ever, but with the most recent change when they increased his shuriken, they decreased his blade damage, so it actually does 110, which doesn't affect what I'll go over later, which will be a couple of infographics of like blading and shurikens and like killing like certain HP targets. But I'll just review this quickly. We have 110, which means things like McCree you can't kill in just 2 slashes. You also need your dash or something like that. Alright. Along with that, it has a 30% movement buff. It has a max range of 5 meters, a 1 swing per 9 seconds, though that can be changed a little bit if you use your dash resets correctly. Along with that, a second casting time when pull it, and then 0.2 seconds for initial swing, everything like that. The biggest thing along with that is when you blade, your swift strike is automatically reset, and your ammunition is restored completely as well. So yeah, hopefully that specifies, and I'm sorry again that I don't know how numbers work apparently.
So 2 slashes will kill a squishy. Right? 2 slashes will not kill Doomfist. It only killed him because of me hitting him with the dash. And that's because he had 250. Okay, so that's just his abilities in general, which is always good to just know. I would say that the biggest thing that gives, well, besides all of his abilities, but something that you should be abusing a lot more, and that no other hero can abuse, is his wall climb into double jump, because that can get you on high ground areas. Like, so an example that I have that's actually really easy, that actually, what's funny is that, so, as you guys know, Reinhardt's will like to throw a fire strike from up here, so, or someone likes to hide up here, so what you do is you can double jump and then wall climb up there. Though, that can get annoying, so another easy thing is just double jump, wall climb up here. And now you're up in this angle, and then you can take this angle over here, sometimes there's someone hiding there, and people like to hide here, right? So the reason why I'm like, don't dash out, is because in this situation, we just count it out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that was fast, right? So you might not have it in time for someone here. You might not have your dash in time to actually kill them, which I've run into before. I dashed instead of just doing the wall climb, and then when I turned around the corner, I was like, oh, I can't catch him now because I don't have dash. It's a little sidetrack of, and this isn't part of the guide, but just like, that's the thought process of why like this double jump and wall climb combination is always good. Quick thing to note, you can jump, wall climb, and then double jump after, but you cannot double jump, wall climb, and then jump again. Just throwing that one out there. Okay. Next, we're going to talk about the biggest, most important part of Genji. What did I say most important? Very, very vital part of Genji, animation cancels. That's an example right there. So I'll go down the list. I'm going to name them all, and then I'll show you each one. So you have right-click dash, right-click melee, right-click dash melee, right-click and then alt, and then dash, right-click, melee, alt. Okay. So we'll start with right-click dash. So the idea of right-click dash is you get extra damage as you go in. Right? So let's look at the difference, right? Okay. So that took out 2 bars. Now he's a lot weaker. You're not gonna hit the head every time, but you get close. I don't actually know my numbers, which is embarrassing, but it's fine. You also have right-click melee, and what's good about the most recent Genji buffs that put about 29 is right-click melee. If all 3 shurikens hit the head, is now a damage threshold, like that, and it cancels the animation because doing doing that is just faster, right? Canceling this animation allows for a more potential burst, which is really important, especially for Genji, because the slightest bit of healing can screw you over. So you need to be as fast as possible, and these animation cancels allow for the burst to be faster. So you have right-click melee. Next is right-click ult. This is a simple one. You can just right-click ult, and then this allows you to not have to use 2 slashes on the target sometimes. Okay, so right-click ult. And then finally, looks like I wrote down dash right-click melee ult. So I'll do it one more time. Oh, do you want to even think about? Oh, so just so you guys know, because I'm going to cut out the video hopefully, is that I've now added. I'm gonna go through this whole animation thing again. And then it'll show you the key clicks that I'm pressing. So we have left, right, melee, and then middle mouse button. Okay. So I'm gonna go down the list again one more time. So we have right click dash, right click dash. That one's pretty easy. And this just allows it so you go here. I'll mention that later. Next you have right-click melee, which is just this. Just like this extra 30 damage does a lot for you. So like doing that is really important. Next is I already did right-click dash. So did I write it down somewhere else? No, I did. Okay, I'll go over that in a second. And then we have right-click ult. Okay. Last one is important one actually. Okay. Well, not an important one, but this one's just like very niche. I don't see it often. I don't use it often, but it's dash right click melee ult, and this allows it so when you hit a 200 HP target, you basically don't have to waste much time killing them. So it's dash right click melee ult, and then you can just dash on to the next target. So basically the point of doing that is so you don't have to waste a swing, and if you do, they're so weak that they shouldn't get enough healing to out-heal the burst damage you just did to them. Okay, so let's just talk about the importance of vertical movement. So this is going to be the next part, because the biggest thing... So this could be the next one. Okay, gotta cut it. So basically, as Genji, you're at an extreme advantage when it comes to vertical movement, because you don't have to use cooldowns like Winston or anything. Honestly, like to get on the high ground, no one has like the ability you have without expending cooldowns. At least I'll think of someone eventually, right? Like you can dash, right, and that's kind of fast, but it goes back to what I was talking about earlier in the video. If you use dash here, you might run into someone, and now you don't have the dash up. So it's very important that you have your cooldowns up, so when you get in these 1v1s, you're at the advantage of having the cooldown. So you'll see people, like, hanging up there, so what you can do is wall climb up, double jump, kill, blah, blah, blah. Another simple example, vertical movement, just up here. You can poke, move on. Another big one that I like to use, because using wall climbs is very important, you can use this as a flank and get behind the Ana that's around here. And if the Ana's over here, don't use dash, I'm just getting there. You can come back here, or if she's high ground, double jump, wall climb up, crouch spam, kill again. Right? Every map has some sort of thing where you're like, oh, I should just wall climb up here. You just have to figure out like your map examples, in all honesty. But Hanamo is like a great example of just like on defense is another example, right? Double jump, wall climb up. You can just right click here. Someone's weak, melee out, get your kill. Then you can, and if it's bad, you can just go right. Okay, so yeah, just make sure that like when you're like playing Genji, you're abusing the fact that you can access high ground way easier than other people can. And if they use a cooldown to get to you, you're like, okay, cool. Dash out, you're done. He wasted his cooldown. You can poke out some more, work up for blade, go back up, right click, right click. If you need to, play around here, use one shot, and then move on. Just like abuse this high ground advantage that you have that no one else can truly abuse like you can. Because you have the combination of double jump and into that. Alright, I'm gonna talk about combos now. Because I went into the animation cancels, but I'll talk about like the main Genji combos. Alright, so we have dash, right click, melee. So, I'll explain why you don't... So, first of all, when you're doing this combo, you do not want to right click before. Right? Do you see how there's a slight pause when I went like this? Right, that pause right there? You're like, okay, maybe? So, watch what happens when I don't right click. You see how it instantly came out? So, that goes back to the 0.7 fire rate that I was talking earlier. It's still on cooldown at the end of your... It's still, like, adjusting because you you did an animation cancel, right? So the game is still like catching up and still counting down to that 0.7. So that's why if you're going for this one shot combo, you do not want to. You don't want to. Sorry, words are hard. When you're going for the one shot combo, you don't want to right click beforehand. It's very important that you don't do that. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Because if you're going like that, in the time frame of you doing like right click here, ah shucks. So here, let's do this one for example. Xavier, can you hit? Sorry guys. Okay. In that time frame, there is a slight time. If it was like an honor or something that gets hit by the initial, like this initial thing, there's a chance the Ana can look down and nade. Or Zarya has time to bubble before the combo is complete. Right, so make sure if you're going for this combo, it's dash, right click, melee for the most part. And I miss. Make sure, and to hit the one shot combo, it has to hit that. Okay. So along with that, all the animation cancels I listed before. So you have right click dash. Keep in mind a couple of things quickly. If all three shurikens hit, on a squishy, you can melee them to kill them, or you can dash through them to kill them. It's a lot better. It just depends on the situation. If you want to get out, you can just get out and leave. You know what I mean? Or you can just walk up. Bro, you'll see it, especially in low ranks. With like Ana's, Widow's, Ashes won't pay attention to you. You can walk up to them, do that, and just move on with your day. You don't have to waste Ash just in case. Because there's a chance, let's say like when you do this, you miss like a shuriken or something, then you can like dash through that if you need to. And then you can add that right click animation cancel as well. Right click dash animation cancel. Okay. Yeah, so that's really it. Just like this is the biggest combo. Just hitting this headshot, like, and this takes practice. You have to know your dash like distances, and then you have to adjust for the headshot. You can, to make it easier sometimes. So sometimes like on these angles, you have to like kind of put your crosshair on the head, but when the ground like that, you can aim at their feet because your dash hitbox is a little rectangle, right? So think like where the gun is like the edge of where the edge of your dash is. So when you're going like this and looking down, you're still like that rectangle. If any of it touches him, he takes the dash damage. So just keep that one in mind. Yeah. So that's really it for the combos, and that's Genji's like most important thing. So this code right here is, and you can see in the top right, DMGRE, and this is really nice because you can just work on hitting your one shots and things like that. You see what I mean? And you can just practice your muscle memory, get used to it. Yeah. So there's that. Alright. We're gonna talk about blading, right? Because that is one of the probably the hardest part and the most impactful role that part of Genji's kit. In all honesty, I mean most ultimates are, but like his ultimate is as a high skill cap, and the second you get locked down, you lose. I haven't played this game in 3 days on this account. Yikes. So, let me see if I can find a decent blade. Yeah. Alright, this is a decent blade. I think I remember this one. So, a couple of things to note, and you'll see it if you watch my coaching videos. When you're blading, you need to have, like, kind of a game plan. In all honesty, it's very important to have an idea of what you're doing with this blade. And it varies. You can use blade to win a 1v1. Because sometimes winning 1v1s with a solo blade can win games for you. It can win the fight. It can turn the tide of that fight. So, yeah. In the end, blade depends on team comp, right? Like, if this is like Moira, I don't know, Brig or something like that, maybe instead I look to like kill the soldier first, something along those lines. It all depends on the comp, what stuns they have, what CCs they have, what ults they have. So I was actually under the impression I'm pretty sure I was under the impression this Lucio had beat, so I went to try to kill him first before I even moved on, but I can't entirely remember about this blade. Another quick thing is you should dash up before. For the most part, dashing up when you blade allows you to get. You'll see in a second. What I'll do is I'll play the blade quickly, I think. Okay. Okay. So that wasn't the blade I was thinking it was, but this is an example of, like, when you switch up your game plan. Because originally I was thinking, I'm going to go kill this Ana and try to kill the Lucio early. But when I saw that the Genji went in with blade and didn't have nano, I knew that I one-shot him with my dash/slash combo. And the monkey on top of him allowed me to cleave the both of them. And the monk, so I should one-shot the Genji. And then the monkey should be at least half HP, so I can finish him off too. And this is an example of, like, having fluidity. Alright, I found a clip of an actual good blade of mine. So, I'll go back to what we started talking about first. So, again, you have to think about the things that you're playing around. So right now we have Nano Blade, and it is 99 to 96. So this blade is make or break for this round, right? So this blade has to be perfect and get value. So, let's talk about things that will negate value. A Diva Bomb placed around the team where I don't have dash and can't get away from it, and get kills on the way out, right? Because they're tracing one ult for two ults, which then means I messed up, and that's a good ult by them. Next, Torp Turret. Torp Turret tracking you can make or break your Nano Blade because it might get you weak enough for everything else to finish you off. So make sure that if you're either killing quickly at a in Torp Turret site, or you're getting out as quickly as possible. Next, Brig Bash. Brig Bash will just screw me over. Roadhog Hook. You have to play around Roadhog Hook in this comp. And Ana Sleep. So I'm trying, right now, I'm thinking Turret, Diva Ult, Hog Hook, Brig Bash, and Ana Sleep. So when thinking about that, that's when you go on to what you're playing around. So you can see that I was like, shoot Torp Turret, right? It's gone. Okay, I dash up, and now I have an idea of what I'm going. So I think I killed the Brig first, because I think she just ended rally, which means I want to kill her as quickly as possible, and then I can move on to these two squishies right here. She's also closer, so I don't have to expend as much to kill her. So I jump here, slash dash, and then I can slash one more time, and now she's dead. Because of did I write down statistics? I don't think I actually wrote down numbers, which is my fault. But just to throw it out there, Dragon Blade is like Reinhardt's hammer. It has the same like distance, length, and everything like that. So it can hit multiple targets at once. It has that cleave damage. On top of that, when you blade, you get a 30% movement buff, which is why Genjis can catch up to you. And also, and I forgot to mention this is very important, when you pull out blade, your dash cooldown is reset, and that's why you'll see Genjis dash up, because they'll get a dash automatically when they pull out their blade. On top of that, you also have like your ammo automatically reload. So if you're at 0 out of 30 shurikens, sometimes it's okay just to pull blade to win that 1v1, and at the end of your blade, you're back to 30 again. So yes, I'm gonna go talk quickly about the thought process of this nano blade. So just for context, on any squishy, slash dash kills with nano blade. Slash dash kills through nano blade, or with nano blade. So all I have to do after the brig. So the brig I know has more than 250 HP, so slash dash does not kill her instantly, which is why you saw me slash dash and then slash again to finish her off. Now that we'll start off again. I dash up. I see that, hey, I'm gonna kill this brig first. I also see that Torb has used his E, so he gets even more health, so it's not as worth to dive one to him, because more time's wasted on me. And the big thing is, you don't want to get stunned, because the second you get locked up, what happens is, then the rest of the team, the enemy team, can shoot you and use their CC, and then you become stun locked and you die. When you pull blade, you become the #1 priority, no matter where you are in the map, it feels like. Like, you can literally dash up, pull blade, and get 3 ults out and then leave, and you get a lot of value still. So anyways, so you see that I look for the break here. So slash, dash, and then 180 slash to kill it, finish him. Okay, now I see, hey, I have Ana and I have Torb here. So I can one-shot this Ana quickly with slash dash. I try to aim it so I end up in front of the Torb as well. I was slightly off actually, but if I could have hit his feet, that would have been perfect, because I would have been able to hit him with my dash, then I could slash, and I could dash through him again, and that would have for sure finished him off. But that's fine. So I get a very quick 3k, and that's just how we win it after that. It was actually really close, but I killed the brig and the Ana, so they have no support. So after that, it's just like the whole backline's gone, the front line can't stay up long. So let's just review what happened there. I dashed up to get an idea of who to go to, who to look for. I hit tab. You should be hitting tab as much, well, not as much as you can, but a lot, just throughout the game to see what switches are happening, or so you can see, think about, oh, this guy hasn't ulted yet, or things like that, or even to see what your team ults are to know what you're working with, right? Because Genji does better when his team is doing well, because you can get those last hits and then snowball your fights. So, anyways, back to it. So you should hit tab, and then you should be like, hey, Brig Bash, play around that. Honestly, play around that. Torb, play around that. Hog Hook, play around that. Things like that. And you have to keep that in mind when you're blading. And that's very important. You have to have some type of game plan in your head when you blade. You shouldn't just pull blade and be like, time to kill things. You should have a target, and you should be positioned to kill that target that you have in mind. Alright. Let me move on to the next topic. Alright, so after I just finished reviewing nanoblading, so I just wanted to show you here a couple of things about Genji and his breakpoints and damage that you can get. So just for context, and I'm not gonna go through shuriken stuff. I'm just gonna go through blade to make it easier for you guys to see the importance of blading. I'm not gonna go through each one here because this stuff is kind of simple math. I mean, I guess it's simple math, but this takes hurts to think about. So just so you guys know, this is shuriken, this is dash, this is shuriken, and this is fist. So this is saying 6 shurikens will kill 150 HP target, or the first 2 has to. Or here, dash 3 shurikens and melee will also kill, which I've done before. It's really fun on tracers, and I could just show you quickly. Leave game, training, practice. It's gonna be a little laggy because I don't feel like switching my scene, but you'll see quickly that if you dash melee, shuriken melee, you don't even have to hit a headshot to kill tracers. Okay. Anyways, going back to this. Alright, so I'm gonna go into regular blade and I'm gonna go to nano blade, and I'm not gonna look too much in. I mean, I'll pull up the other ones so you can just look at them. This shout out to Harmless Poke. He's another Genji player that actually sent this to me. And he said I could use it a bit ago, but I'm now finally using it. He's about a 4. I want to say I think he's peaked higher than me, but he's around the 4.2 average just in general Genji, I'd say. And yeah, so check out his YouTube channel. Again, it's just Harmless Poke. And yeah, he has some good useful guides as well. So as you'll see, for Blade to kill 150 is you swing once. This is swing and this is dash. So slash dash. For 175, so Widowmaker, what you can do instead of dashing up, you can dash through her, pull blade, swing, and then dash again. Right? So there you don't dash up because you need the initial damage for the combo to hit. Same thing for 200 HP, right? It's you can dash through them first, pull blade, swing, and then dash through them again. Or the other alternative just being dash up and then swing to kill them. And that does the same thing with anybody with armor. So Brig, as you can see here, for 225 HP, so McCree, it is slash, then dash, and then slash again. Same thing for Doomfist or May, it is slash, dash, slash. And just quick math would be, since Dragon Blade does 120 base, it's 240, and the dash is just the extra up, basically. Okay. Next would be 300 HP targets. And this doesn't happen often, but just in case, it is dash, slash, dash, slash. And then to finish it off, 400 HP is dash, slash, slash, dash, slash. But I wouldn't recommend using your whole blade on tanks first. Unless they're the only thing around to kill, then you should just do what you can to kill them. I'll go into Nano quickly. So, here it is. So this is just Nano Blade. So, one slash kills 150 HP targets, so you can just one-shot Tracer. With Widowmaker, it is slash dash to kill them. And then anything up to 250 HP, a single slash dash will kill them. And that's why it's okay when you have an Ana for Nano to hit that dash up, because what you can do is you can either fall on them and then dash slash dash out, or you can dash onto them and slash, and then it's just the reverse. So when you dash up, you see the Ana, you dash down onto a slash, and then the next thing is you find the next weak thing, and you dash onto it and then slash, and then it's just reverse, basically. And then as you can see here, 250 HP, you can either slash twice to kill them, or it will be the dash slash dash. And then for 400, so something like Zarya with Nano Blade, it will be slash dash slash. So yeah, I'm gonna pull up the other things quickly, just so you can see it. I'll just do this. This can happen typically. You have Mercy Boost, so I'll just let you guys look at that quickly. Maybe jot it down or something you find important. I personally just kind of have a feeling for it. I don't know the exact logistics, but this is something that you can, if anything, work into muscle memory. So, like, you practice knowing that this will always kill, and then you don't have to think about it eventually, which is very important for your speed of play, which you need to have as Genji because you don't want to get locked down. Okay. Discord Orb is another one. Same exact thing. Nano, here we go. We have Nano Blade with Discord. You one-shot almost anything that is 200 and less. Or you should one-shot anything 200 and less. And same thing with, like, here's another example. Blade damage boost Discord or Nano. I mean, this one can happen. Mostly Ana's not a foreign concept, so this is something you should maybe look into as well. So yeah, there's just a quick thing on extra things for thinking about your blades, and it can help you with just your base kit if you're wondering on stuff like this. So again, check out Harmless Poke. Shout out to him for lending this to me. And we'll move on to the next thing, which will be the importance of high ground control. Alright guys, so we're going to go into the advanced guide of Genji now. So, the first thing that we're going to talk about is high ground control, because that is the most important thing and where you can get the most amount of value out of Genji over playing any other hero, because he has a better kit to get to high ground without having to use all of his cooldowns. So, the importance of high ground control is just, you can take these off angles and these stronger angles that people on the enemy team, it's a little bit harder for them to poke you out or deal damage to you or get you off that high ground. So you can utilize poking them in the back and maybe looking for a pick. So, I have a friend, and he can start what I told him to do. He's playing Baptiste, so the idea is I dash up to him. I start killing him. I'm like, oh shit, he used a mortality field. And everything like that. So I grab Mega, and now I can go back up. And I have cooldowns up. And now he has to drop back to his team, because it's a longer cooldown, right? So now I have this positioning up here, and he doesn't have his mortality field or his shift. So either resources have to be drained into him, so maybe Zarya Bubble or Ana has to nade, or Ana focuses on him instead of, like, maybe the tanks that are up there. Or maybe they're not paying attention and I can actually just finish him off from here in the first place where he doesn't have mortality. So, and this all started with just taking this high ground positioning, forcing their cooldowns, and then because you can get to this high ground easier, you can just drop, grab a Mega or something, and then go back up. So, another thing that... So that's just kind of the importance of high ground. And there's many examples. Like, that's why maps like Numbani are extremely strong for Genji, because you don't have to dash up to the high ground. You can just wall climb up there, and then you have your dash for the Ana that's in the back instantly. Things like that. Alright, so I'm going to move on to the next thing, and I'm just going to... Basically, the advanced portion is going to be off of all the things that I talked about in the basic portion. So I'm just going to expand on his abilities more. So after talking about high ground control, we're going to talk about just how to use his passive a little bit more advanced than what you can do just by double jump and then wall climbing, or wall climbing and double jump off, right? So the first thing would be just like these ledges. You can't double jump right away because you get stuck. So what you should do is you should jump, wall climb, and then double jump over. Another quick thing is that you technically have unlimited wall pull up. So you'll notice that when you climb up something, and when you get to the top, you pull yourself up. Like that. You're pulling yourself up. You can see when his hands grab like this that he's pulling himself up. So this animation can be done unlimited amount of times. So that can be useful when you're like trying to stall on the edge or on a wall or something. You can just do this over and over again. I need to grab it. Lloyd. There's a little edge there. I can't get it right now. You can just do this over and over again technically. And that can be like used just to like stall. If someone's chasing you when you're at a ledge, you can just do this and just try to stay alive until your cooldowns get back. And then keep that shot. But that doesn't happen as often as you think. Another thing, and this is just good for just 1v1s in general, you can use your wall climb as a little like boost up to dodge cooldowns. So let's say you're fighting a Roadhog, and do you have hook now? Okay. So when I go, I was like, oh no, he has hook. So I double jump up and I go like this, and then it throws off his aim a little bit because he's expecting you to go up and down like this, but this little boop up, this little movement right here throws off that aim. So that's how you can use the passive a little bit to win those 1v1s to get an advantage, especially when you're like down on cooldowns. Like if you like dash into the Roadhog, you're like, oh no, I meleeed. You're like 2 seconds left. You can jump up and then you can dash out again, and use that wall climb to get yourself at a weirder angle to make it harder to track you, basically. So that's how you can use your passive a little more as an advanced way for Genji. Alright guys, so before I get into talking about more in depth of when to left click, right click, and everything like that, we should talk about why you're doing it, what the point of poking is in the first place. So we're going to just talk about the importance of poking as Genji. So a couple of things. Obviously, when you poke, you're getting ult charge. Ult charge means that you get blade sooner, and the sooner you get blade, the sooner your hero becomes an actual hero for more than 2 seconds. So when in this situation here, I came up with, you took high ground control, like we talked about from the Baptiste earlier, and now you have this Reinhardt here that's defending your whole entire team, so you start poking him in the back, right? So now he's like, oh no, what do I do, right? Because maybe because now he has to face like the pressure that is up on this team, and now he has to give space, right? And now you can start to rotate and keep poking. And let's say that he's super weak. Now you're like, oh shit, I can finish him off, right? And in that time frame, keep in mind that your team is pushing on both sides as well. So he's kind of stuck, and that's because you poked him out in the first place. And that can be the same thing, right? Let's say that there's like a soldier high ground right here. You can be right-clicking him, and then when he gets weak, you can go for your combo to finish him off because he was weak in the first place. So you don't have to hit all your headshots. You don't have to hit that one-shot combo. Instead, maybe you just hit like 2 of your shurikens to the body, your melee, and your dash, and that could be enough because you poked him out initially. Alright guys, so now that we talked about poke, I'm going to move on a little bit to the importance and like when to left click. We'll start with left click and then I'll move on to right click. So as you can see before, the idea should be that left click or right click depends on if you think that you're going to land more shurikens over one or the other. So the Reinhardt example, I would definitely land more shurikens in this straight line than I would in this right click, because the shurikens, as you can see, one's hitting the wall here, one's going wide there. So in these long distances, on immobile targets, it's a lot better to hit these left clicks. Now, let's say there's a Pharah flying around. It's a lot nicer sometimes just to right click, because when she's going back and forth and swaying back and forth, she's more likely to run into your shurikens. Now, you can left click if you have like the accuracy for it, but sometimes depending on like, if she's like, I'd say maybe that distance, right clicking might be better just because she's moving left and right and more your shurikens have a higher chance to hit. So going back to when to left click, so an example would be this Widowmaker right here. So on these immobile heroes that are scoped in or focused or don't move as fast, it's a lot nicer to hit all 3 shurikens on their head. Alright, so let's say that you have this Widowmaker here and you know that she's not as mobile, so the idea should be that you're left clicking and then you're dashing, because when you hit that line and then dash, it should one-shot combo her. And you don't want to right click because not all your shurikens would hit and this dash wouldn't finish her off. So you have a chilling hero aiming down sights looking for your team, so you hit all 3 shurikens, dash through, and you close that gap, and she has no time to react, because by the time the 3rd shuriken hits, you've already hit your dash, and it should be connecting with her basically the same time your last shuriken is hit. So that's when you should be left clicking. Alright guys, so now that I finished talking about left click, I'm going to talk about when you should be going on right click instead. So just to preface this, you should be using a left click like McCree, right? In these lines, in these long distances, trying to poke him out, or like Torb is a better example, Hanzo, where you're just trying to hit these shots from far range. And because it's more pinpoint, it's better for long range because you have a better idea and have a higher likelihood of hitting like the general area, because it's gonna stay in this little zone depending on how you move. While right click is really spread out. So right click you should be using as a shotgun, right? Like you have Reaper and Torb, like you should be using it like when you're point blank, you'll be right clicking that, right? So let's say you have the Zen there, right? Zen's a good target to be right clicking because you more than likely will be hitting all 3 of your shurikens every single volley when you're close enough. Because he doesn't have any mobility or any like real sustain, he's a very good target to try to kill as quickly as possible, and the way you do that is with your right click. So Hanamo is just a great example. You get above the Zen or the Ana that's up here, and then you start to right click on him, and you can just dash. And see, it took like a volley and a half because I headshot him. Right, and you just aim for the head, and you just keep holding right click. And because it does more burst faster, it gives the enemy team, including the Zen, less time to react. Alright guys, so we're going to go into another thing that I think is more of an advanced thing about Genjis. And that would just be utilizing combos in general, and to do that you have to know your distances, right? So you need to know that sometimes the dash at the feet, to shorten your dash, or you have an idea of like what the perfect dash is. So I know that right around here, when I dash, will get me on top of here, right? And you kind of just need to get a feeling for where your dash is, because knowing this distance is very important when it comes to hitting these combos, because then you know that right here, you hold right click to finish them off. I don't know why it's so delayed. So an example, just knowing when to knowing your distances, like Pharah, right? Like you can kill a Pharah, especially when she's not pocketed. Like you hit a couple of your right clicks, and then you know your distance, and then you can get close. Though I missed a little bit, and I'm still missing because I have to reload. You have unlimited fly on this?
No.
Oh, god damn it.
Wait, should we maybe do with an Ana?
Alright, so an example of just knowing your distances is would be like killing Anas and knowing when to dash at their feet. Right, so let's say that you have that Ana scoped in, right? And I know that from this distance right here, if I dash at the feet, I need to flick up to the head and hit my melee to finish her off. Except I missed everything, because I'm terrible. So let me try that one more time. Go grab a mini quickly. Okay. Try it one more time. So dash at feet, and then melee, and then hit him with your combo to finish him off. And that's because I need to dash at the feet, and that would position me right in front of her to finish her off. Another thing that you should start practicing is hitting your 180s, and knowing your your like sensitivity, so you can hit 180s on the head and things like that, because that happens way more than you think. Because sometimes you slightly misjudge it, so you have to know how to make up for it with these 180s. Alright guys, so I think thing that we've all been flamed for and know very well is when you lose your target right as you blade, right? And now you just waste your whole entire ult, and now your teammates are telling you swap off, you suck at Genji, you're not Necros, blah blah blah, all that good stuff. So I'm just gonna give you like kind of an idea of maybe a better way to not lose your target. So Moira's a good example, right? When there's a chance she fades away, so you need to anticipate and have an understanding where she's going. So let's say that you pull blade, so you dash, you pull blade, you get a swing, usually she's going to fade away, and then you listen for where she's going to end up, and then you can follow her there. So, a couple of things. You can see where she was, kind of a general idea of where she was facing or moving, because that's where the initial momentum is going to be of her fade. On top of that, you can listen to where they're at, and that's where you can, and then obviously you see her, but like, you have an idea of where to look initially, and then you can dash to the sound or the visual cue. So that's kind of an idea of how you can maybe do a little bit better with not losing your target. Alright guys, so I'm going to go in even more in depth into blading, because honestly, the hardest thing and the most advanced part of Genji's kit, I think, would be his blade. So, for blading, like, you have 6 seconds, and it's almost always make or break of a team fight. If you lose with blade, you almost always lose that fight, and that can end up being snowballed into a loss entirely of that map. So, I'm just going to talk a little bit about my thought process when I'm blading. So, always with my blades, I almost never go for tanks unless I know it's going to take 1 to 2 slashes max. When you're blading, you have, I think it's a max of 9 slashes, and that's if you, like, hit every kill with 1 slash, I'm pretty sure, or something along those lines. So, I usually start with squishies or things that I'm going to kill in 1 or 2 slashes. So, anything in this column, like from the damage to support column, is usually my first like idea. And then from there, I also have to think about the cooldown. So, I usually start with things that aren't mobile, right? You don't want to chase a Tracer with your blade, because she can blink, recall, and waste 3 to 4 seconds of your blade. You might not even kill her, and your blade might be totally gone. So, first, it's start with the squishy character, and then how mobile are they? So things like Zen, Brig technically, Baptiste sometimes, or Ana are almost always my high priority targets when it comes to at least the support cast. So then maybe in damage, Hanzo's a decent example. McCree can be, you just have to wait around his flash. Ashe can be, Soldier can be, because he can run, but he can't like blink or like do a complete distance, like create a big distance very quickly like Tracer or Sombra or Doomfist can. Widowmaker's another example, because you can kill her before she can get grappled off. So what I just did there for you was I was listing a couple of things of like things you need to think about when you go into Blade. So we'll talk about tanks a little bit. So let's say like Sigma's a decent target to kill, because as long as you avoid his rock, you can kill him the quickest, as he has no way to truly negate damage, and he has no way to run away. Sigma might ult you, but you're trading 1-for-1 if you're dry nanoing. So, just thinking about how like easy is it to kill them is something that should always be in your mind, because if whoever's the easiest to kill should be the first thing you kill, because the idea of your blade is you get your dash resets with your blade as well, and you're dashing through the whole team, continuing cleaving the whole team, and that allows your team to also help get kills. And when they kill things, as long as you damage something, your dash will get reset. As long as you have some part of their elimination, like you participate in an enemy's elimination, even if all you did was melee them once and then move on, you will get your dash reset from that. So your goal is to try to hit as much as you can so your team can give you dash resets back as well. So going off of that, you should start off with killing the things that are easiest to kill, so you can get your dash reset sooner to move on to the next target that is also the second easiest. So let's just say an easy one would be Ana Zen. Or Ana Brig. We'll go with Ana Brig. So when going against Ana Brig, you have to think about things that you're playing around, and we'll just go through the list of just Ana Brig. So you need to play around Brig Mace, so her boot, or her bash, or Ana Sleep, and technically Ana Nade, because that can stall out how long your blade is going for. So keeping that in mind, that's when you pull out your blade, and then you jump over the sleep, deflect the sleep, then you can finish off the honor, move on to the brig, try to bait her bash out by double jumping over her bash. Right, so let's make this a little bit easier, and we can just go through the whole entire list and things that you need to think about when they're against the enemy team. So D.Va first. The only things that she can really do is she can bomb her backline, and that can just zone you out. So when that happens, something you can do is you can kill the D.Va quickly, because all you have to do is hit her with your dash and slash, and then you can dash away from her bomb if you do it fast enough. Orisa is someone that you shouldn't waste your time on for the most part, especially if she has her gold, because she negates half your damage. So unless you have Nano Blade and she doesn't have gold, you should try to save her for one of the last things you kill. Or your team focuses on her while they focus on you blading. Your team can push the Orisa, and then if anything is a 1-for-1 trade, but usually you get more value out of that. Reinhardt, you have to look out for his charge, because sometimes Reinhardts will charge where their Ana is currently located, expecting you to be dashing onto the Ana. So you have to think about the fact that he might try to cross-map charge you. Another thing is he might just solo slam you. So try to keep height up initially, because Reinhardts will get trigger happy, and right when they think you're about to land, instead of, when you double jump, they'll try to slam. You can jump over. If you double jump his slam, it won't hit you, because you jump high enough that the hitbox doesn't connect with your feet, and then he wastes his ult, and then you can continue to go on with the fight. Roadhog. Things that you have to think about. First of all, I usually say Roadhog for one of the last, because he also has damage negation, on top of the fact that he's the 300 heal, on top of the fact that he's a hook. So he can probably stall your blade for, well, the whole entire time. In all honesty, if you can spend your whole blade on him and still not kill him, because he can also stall more time when he hooks you. On top of that, Roadhogs will sometimes ult you, especially with Nano Blade. They will ult you away from their team. So you need to position yourself that if he's ulting you, you're getting pushed towards his teammates, and then you can just turn and kill them. Sigma. Things you have to think about Sigma. Rock. You don't want to get stunned by Rock, or you don't want to get lifted. So you need to sometimes save dash, for when he goes to pick you up, you can dash out of it, and then move on to kill his team. Just a quick side note. The importance of not getting stunned, the second you get locked up for at least a second or and a half, the enemy, if they have enough CCs, will just stun lock you until you die. So that's why you have to think about every stun, because like most times, if you get stunned once, you are dead. So you just have to think about that. Monkey, you don't really want to hard commit on him unless he doesn't have jump, and then if you know you're going to kill him, then you can waste time on him and then move on. But for the most part, he's going to jump away, and or he will monkey ult, and then he'll just smack you away from his team. Ball, you must never want to ult Ball, because he can just roll away. Zarya, she either is going to grab you, so what you can do is you can bait the grab, double jump over the grab, and then move on, kill her and or the rest of her team. Or you can deflect the grab. But that's easier said than done. Another thing you have to think about is, does Zarya have bubbles? Because she can negate about 2 of your Nano Blade slashes with her bubbles. And when I say 2, I mean just 1 bubble. So if you go for the Zarya and like, well, screw that, I'm going to go to someone else, and she bubbles them instead, you just wasted about more than half your blade trying to kill things. So you have to play around the fact that Zarya has these bubbles. Okay, moving on to the damage cast. All you have to worry about for Ashe when blading is her shotgun. So what you should do is you should dash, get close to her, then pull blade out to get your dash reset. She'll coach gun away, and then right as she coach guns you away, you follow her with your dash, and you catch up to her, and you can slash to kill her. Bastion, you can kill, but because he has his ability to heal, it'll take a long time, so maybe not go for him first, maybe midway through the fight if need be. McCree, you need to look out for his roll and his flashbang. Sometimes it will also high noon you to try to zone you, and that's kind of just, you can maybe find one of his teammates that are out of his LOS and or try to deflect kill him, or something that I like to do is, especially in Nano Blade, I'll walk towards him while I'm deflecting, and then I dash through. As I dash through, I 180 slash, and it's kind of just a thing of how fast is the McCree able to 180 and pull the trigger, and most of the time he's not able to. So that you get a kill off of him and you trade ults. And then you can snowball the fight. Doomfist, you have to watch out for him just using his cooldowns to punch you away. So he can punch you away, he can uppercut you to take away your momentum, or slam you to also take away momentum. Echo, if they have their ult, they will ult you to make sure that they don't die. So if you slash through them, what if you dash through them, they'll dash through you, and then they're away from you, and then you just lost your blade, and they're ulting the back of your team, and they'll get blade and snowball. So just be aware of that, and you'll be fine. And also, she can just fly away. So be careful, and what you can do is you can bait fly, and then you can dash after her, and then slash her midair. In the Genji 1v1, Genji can waste about 2 seconds of your blade with deflect. Deflect negates all blade damage. So make sure that you don't waste time on a Genji if he's deflecting you, because you don't want to waste any time of your blade. Hanzo, you just have to watch out for his jump, and obviously him hitting you in the head, but just like move correctly or use deflect correctly. Junkrats, some of them are smart, and they will tire you. So what you have to do is you have to kill 2 to 3 people before tire gets to you, or you find the Junkrat right as he tires, and then you slash dash. 1 slash kills tire. So what you can do is you can get to the Junkrat as he pulls tire, and then you can slash him, and then dash onto his body, then move on to the next target. Mei has Ice Block, so do not waste all your cooldowns trying to kill her if she has Ice Block, and she also might Blizzard you to zone you from the rest of her team. Pharah can boop you away, and can shift out, so keep that in mind. He has Wraith, Reaper has Wraith, and they sometimes Death Blossom, but for the most part, they just Wraith out, which wastes your time, because you either commit to chasing them, and if you use your dash, then you're kind of just out of luck. Soldier will try to run away, but if you dash correctly, you can catch up to him to finish him off. Sama will try to hack you, so either you can try to cancel her hack by dashing through her, or you can just try to stay out of her LOS when you blade. Symmetra, just be careful of her turrets that slow you down. And that should be initial work that you do to make sure the turrets are there when you blade. Torb, he's going to use his armor, his extra armor, so just keep that in mind, that he's going to run a little bit faster, so try to keep dash, or make sure he's weak enough that when he starts to run away, it doesn't take you much time to finish him off. That, and also get rid of his turret. Next, Tracer. If she has recall, or her blinks, you have to anticipate where she's blinking, and or not waste time on her, and save her for maybe midway, or she uses all of her cooldowns, and you can finish her off with blade. Widowmaker is usually easy. Just make sure that you're positioned in the spot that you can catch up to her if she grapples out, and you kill her before she grapples, because she's really squishy. Ana, you have to play around her sleep and her nade before it antis you, and it allows her to get more healing from her team, and more peel quickly. So sleep and nade you have to work around. Baptiste, you have to not get baited out by his jump. So you have to follow his jump correctly. I need to restart match. So you have to bait out jump correctly. You also have to bait out his immortality field, because he'll probably jump, shift, immortality field, and what you need to do is you need to save your slash dash for the immortality field, and or 2 slashes. And that's the issue with Baptiste, because Baptiste has the best ability to keep you in the same spot, because if his whole team is in that immortality field, you have to get rid of that field, and that means you're stuck there, and then they can just throw their cooldowns in your general direction, and you'll probably die. But I won't complain too much about that. So just be aware that you have to get rid of his immortality field to get more value. Next would be Brig. So things about Brig, we talked about earlier, you have to look out for a stun and her boop. You also have to be mindful that she could pack whoever else you're diving on, so just be aware that they might get extra healing, and be prepared to swipe one more time. Lucio, just look out for his beat. He's going to try to beat you. That's really it. With boot, he can also just like speed away. So just anticipate where he's going to go and try to kill him if he's your main focus. If he gets far away, do not waste time chasing him. Second would be just be careful with his boot. Sometimes you should hold your dash, that when he boops you away, you can dash back and then catch up to him quickly to finish him off. Mercy is going to ego jump, or like just jump away. So suggestion I have for that one would just be when she has no fly, like if she just finishes using GA to a target, that's a perfect time to pull blade and look for the Mercy right away, because she can't fly away. Or what you can do is you dash onto her, you pull blade, and then you wait for her to fly, and when she flies, you follow her with your dash, and then you can finish her off that way, because she has no cooldown. Moira, just be careful of coalescence, because she can keep her distance while calling you, so you have to get on top of her as quickly as possible, and or she can just fade out. So that's what we talked about earlier, where you hold your dash for when she fades. And then finally, Zenyatta, all Zen can do is either one-shot you with Discord, which most of the time that doesn't happen, because you have deflect, or he's going to trank you. You can kill trank through, if you're Nanoblade though, with a slash dash combo as quickly as possible will kill him off as well. So with that said, this should give you a better idea of what you should be thinking about when you blade, and this should help you improve your blades a little bit more. So hopefully this gives a little bit of insight of how to do a little bit better target prioritization and how to think about what CCs you're playing around and what abilities they have that'll screw you over. Alright guys, last thing, well not last thing, the second to last thing, after talking about blade target priority, I'm just going to talk about when you should know it's time to go in. Because sometimes some, especially lower ranked players, I think don't always seem to understand when you need to play passive and when to be aggressive. So you should always start off passive and start the poke with whatever you're trying to figure out. And then after that, there's a bunch of things that can, there's just like triggers that you'll start to get a sense for it, start to get some game sense when they're like, okay, now it's time to go. So let's just say like you have like someone's like one shot, right? Now you go in, you get your kill, and then you can start fighting, right? Because you got that first kill, that guy was weak. Next, maybe the enemy doesn't have the cooldowns, right? So like let's say that we know that Baptiste doesn't have a mortality field. Now might be the time. Like he has no mortality field. He has no like self heal. Now might be the time to drop on him and try to finish him, and then fight him because he has no way to stall you or to survive well enough. Another easy one is just, let's just say someone dies, right? Like let's say that the Ana dies, then you're like, okay, time to kill the Zen, right? Now I can kill the Zen because there's nothing to really peel, because if their team peels for you, then your team can push it, right? Another thing is sometimes it's not when you have an advantage, but a disadvantage that you have to be aggressive, right? Sometimes there's points in times, there's a point in time when you're like, okay, we're gonna lose. I need to do something, and if it pays off, it'll work. And or you're just using it to reset. Let's say that you lost your first team fight. Maybe you're like stuck here, and they're looking at you. Maybe you're like, okay, I'm gonna try to one shot or kill this Ana quickly, take this 1-for-1, and then if you die, they lost their Ana, and you have spawn advantage. So it's worth for you in that case, right? And you decided to be aggressive because you were losing, and you were just like, I might as well get alt charge or something out of this lost fight. Just seeing openings in general, and you'll know what I mean. Like you'll just see like someone not paying attention, and you can just go and finish them off. And finally, just overextensions. There's a lot of times where you'll see some like an enemy team use all the cooldowns and we get like 2 kills, right? And let's say that they're starting like hard push and they're like right here, and you can be like on a nano me, pull out nano, and then you kill them all because they don't have any abilities whatsoever. And I mean, you're just able to rip through them because they have no abilities. They use all the cooldowns and they're too high, so they can't retreat properly. So yeah. I'm gonna move on to just my outro, and then yeah, we'll go from there. So cool. So just to end it, we'll talk about the best, well, what I think is one of the best ways and most efficient ways to get blade as quickly as possible. So this might not even just be for blading, because it can lead to picks. So let's say that you're defending Hanamura. I'm using Hanamura just because it's the first map I loaded, but like you can apply these concepts to different maps. So let's say that you have like the 2 Reinhardts holding each other, right? So you can poke out their team, and let's say that you start to get weak. What you can do is if they're all stacked up like this, you can dash through 2, 3, 4, maybe all 6 people, 180 out, deflect. And when you do that deflect, you can get the poke out from them shooting you onto the Reinhardt maybe, or someone behind him. So, and then you just get a lot of, I can't tell you the percent you get, but you can probably get at least 15% from this, just doing this for 8 seconds, right? And let's say that you poke out correctly, you can end up like maybe killing a Zen, right? And you're like, boom, kill Zen, and then all of a sudden everyone's weak, and then you start getting your dash resets over and over again. And you go back and forth, and then you can get even more ult charge. And that's all just because the initial idea was you started up here. You were like, okay, I need to get ult charge, poke, dash through, 180, and then just get healing from your team, and then just rinse and repeat. And this is just the blade strat. This is what you can probably at least do to masters to get. You don't even have to get maximum value in Genji. Just like if you know how to get blade, you can get the masters very, very well if you just know how to farm it correctly. Just that, move on, and then done. And you just rinse and repeat, and that's how you can get blade very, very fast. So yeah, I don't think I'm missing anything, so this should be the end of this guide, I would think. So if you have any questions or anything you need me to expand upon, please let me know. Please let me know. I would appreciate it. So yeah. Please don't forget to subscribe. Follow me on Twitch as well. Follow me on Twitter. And I have a Discord link somewhere. It's probably on my Twitch that you can join that as well to ask questions. Feel free. So hope you guys learned something. And see you on ladder later. See you in top 500, boys. Adios.